wanted to give you guys an introduction. Excuse me. I wanted to give you guys an introduction as to this next video. I was given 3 projects at the home of the Sharps, Mark and Judy. They live in Norman, Oklahoma, which is south of me, probably about 10-15 minutes, and they wanted me to do a few things for them that all in the future will be done on video, and one of which I'm going to show you today. They wanted me to install a big flat screen TV, about like a 42-inch TV, on their wall using one of those brackets that swing from side to side. So that was just a little DIY project that they approached me with that I thought some people that might be a little intimidated would want to try. So let's go ahead and get to it. What this is a 42-inch TV, and it is a flat screen. It already has some of the mounting hardware on the back already from the equipment that will be mounted to the wall. One of the problems that we have with this wall is that there was a window behind the sheetrock. At one time it was open, and whenever this house was remodeled, they just covered it up. That's fine. You don't always need windows. But because this house was built at a certain time, codes for the building process were a little different. Normally studs are 16 inches apart on center, and I think some of these may be exceeding and maybe less than that. So using a stud finder to find where these studs are at on a modern mounting plate, they probably won't match up. And there's one of 2 ways that you can combat that, is by mounting a board onto the wall, which will mount your hardware to that, and you would have an area big enough that you can adjust where your screws need to go into the studs. One of the things about the studs, though, is that if you're not directly on center, you can split out the side of that stud, and it will be no different than having a ring shank nail in the sheetrock holding up a picture frame. And if we put a high-dollar TV on that, it's going to fall. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So what I have talked with the homeowners about and decided to do was buy some heavy-duty wall mollies that are at least 100-pound rating per molly. And we're going to mount, I believe it's 8 wall mollies, 4 on each side. The mounting hardware has several holes on top, several holes on bottom on one side and the other. And we're going to mount 4 on each side for a total of 8. And if they're 100-pound rating, that's 800 pounds, close to 1,000 that this is going to support. And this TV is nowhere near that heavy. And then the TV will hang up on that mounting hardware and be able to swivel and turn however they want. So that's just going to be a quick DIY project that some people may be a little intimidated to do, but I'll show you step by step how to get it done.
Now the only tools you're going to need are a couple of drills, some toggle straps, tape, and a template. Now these toggle straps are meant to hold between 70 and 185 pounds per square inch, and they're some of the most unique toggle straps I've ever seen. Luckily I was introduced to them on a prior project, and I found that they worked extremely well. You'll see how they're installed in this video. Now the mounting hardware was purchased by the homeowner, and as you can see it has plenty of mounting surface with multiple holes to choose from in case you decide to use your studs. Now to make sure that your holes are properly aligned, I suggest making a template like I did here. Actually, the homeowner was nice enough to make this for me. Just locate it on your wall, make sure that the holes are nice and level, and then drill out each individual hole that you plan on putting a toggle strap in. Now I didn't have a big enough bit to support making these holes bigger, so I was using a paddle bit. I believe these holes were a 1/2 inch size hole, so that's big enough for the toggle to get through the hole, and just big enough for the strap itself to cinch up onto the face of the wall. You basically just insert the toggle in first. You might have to negotiate a little bit with the insulation behind the wall, but make sure that the toggle flattens itself against the sheetrock, and then just slide the strap into the hole, which will then clamp it between both sides of the sheetrock. It takes a little bit to get started, but once you do, just push on it nice and flat and make sure it's good and seated. And just come back with a couple of snips and snip it flush with the wall. And just repeat this process on all the other holes. Then come back and just snip them all off.
Alright, now we've got all the toggles in place and trimmed up, we're ready to put the screws in. All we're going to do is just hoist up the unit to mount and then just screw it right to it. Now you don't want to put a lot of pressure on these because they're already threaded, there's no need to. The more pressure you put on it, the more chance you take a risk on breaking that toggle on the back side, and it's just going to fall right down and then it's useless and you got to do it again. So just put the screw in there and let the drill do the work. You don't have to push very hard at all.
Now it's always wise to grab a friend to help you out. Luckily the homeowner was willing. Once you get one screw started, it's pretty easy to get the rest.
Now the cool thing about this unit in particular is that it's got a built-in bubble level right here. So before you tighten everything down, it's wise to just find where your low spot is and just lift up and make sure that it's level from there and start tightening everything down. But this sucker is mounted pretty strong and it ain't going anywhere. Alright, as you can tell, TV is now mounted to the unit, and if you look, it swivels out from the wall and will turn in any direction that you want it to go. And it's got plenty of flexibility. It can go almost about 30 degrees and even further if you pull it out further. So this is a nice little unit to have for your flat screen TV, and as I've shown you, it's very easy to install even if you can't find studs. It's always recommended to use studs, but these toggle straps that I have shown you here are a great alternative. I would recommend doing about twice the amount as what you were going to do to mount into the studs. Normally you do about 4 screws total in a stud, and they're lag screws, so they're real coarse threaded. These toggle bolts, I would double that, and that will give you plenty of security to make sure that this thing does not hit the ground, because this is one investment you don't want to drop. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave me some comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys soon.